Earlier this week, I got an email from somebody asking me if I had seen some weird dude on Facebook, on social media. It's a guy who he looks like a buffoon, honestly. Dressed as, I don't know what he was dressed as, but he goes by the name of Doctor Boogey. And they said that this guy was on the interwebs, and he's I guess he's talking to a puppet. And during this little video, he calls me out. He's got a problem with me. I'm not sure what the issue is, but it's a thing. And a buddy of mine, Scott, found the video because I hadn't seen it. I had a couple of people mention it to me. I had people message me on Messenger. And I didn't know what the story was. So Scott found this and he sent it to me, and I shared it on my Facebook page for you to look at if you'd like to. It's this creepy, goofy-looking guy. I don't know what his story is. I watched part of it. Something to the effect that he is, I don't know, he thinks he's a zombie. And that he hates me. And I guess he used to work in radio back in the 70s here in Dayton. But my wife, she sent me a news clipping, and not really a news clipping. It's from the AP, and it talks about this day in history. And this nutcase mentions what happened in this article in his video, and it was on this date in 1979, and that's part of the reason I played Casey and the Sunshine Band. It was on this date, 1979, a radio disc jockey in Chicago by the name of Steve Dahl did a promotion at a White Sox baseball game. And the promotion was Disco Demolition Night, because that DJ worked at a rock station. And this was during the height of disco music. Now, I like disco music. I don't listen to it a lot. I sometimes like playing Casey and the Sunshine Band because that was one of my favorite groups when I was little. I mean, in 1979, I was 10. So I had a couple of Casey and the Sunshine Band records. That was very popular. But on this particular night in Chicago, and I've known about this for years because it's a radio stunt, and I work in radio and I do promotions. We're always looking for goofy things to do. They piled a bunch of albums, records, disco records, in a pile out in like center field. And the stunt was that they were going to blow it up. So they actually had like, not dynamite necessarily, but they had something that would cause a little bit of a bang and blow up some records. And, it was supposed to be just kind of a joke. And it was happening between two games. There was a doubleheader that day. Well, when they blew up the records in center field, it turned into pandemonium there in the stadium. And this was at Comiskey Park, Southside Chicago. And people started essentially rioting. They flooded the field. They tore up the outfield. They stole the bags off the field. I mean, it was just chaos. Well, this crackpot on this video, he mentions this. And he says that because of what happened in Chicago, he lost his job here in Dayton. And I don't know if that happened. I don't remember this guy. I mean, I grew up listening to the radio and I always wanted to be in radio, but I don't remember a Dr. Boogey in Dayton. I think there was a Dr. Boogey in Cincinnati maybe, But I don't know about anybody in Dayton named Dr. Boogey. But look, maybe there was. At that point, when I was 10 years old, I was listening to WHIO and I was listening to Wing. Those are the stations that I listened to. So I have no idea what the story is with this guy. But it was just sort of fortuitous that he mentioned this in his crazy video. And again, it's on my Facebook. You can watch it. And then my wife saw this article from AP. And that happened on this date. In 1979, they blew up a bunch of disco records. So I don't know. You'll have to go look at the video and figure it out for yourself.